Hi. Hello, Tulu. Hi, Simon. Good evening, my time. How y'all doing? Hope you're good.
Good evening, Josephine. Good evening. How are
Good.
you? How was the day?
I'm fine. Okay, but I'm particularly excited that the day is winding down. I can't wait to jump on my bed. I'm tired. How's it going? Okay, so we're gonna start reaching out. Hi, Samuel. No, Simon. Apologies, Simon. Can you hear me, Simon? How you doing?
Hi, good evening, Josephine.
Good evening. Simon, please do me a favor, right? I want you to make a comment in the community. Tell them we're live, right? That is joining.
That's
Thank you. Hi, Noreen. Good evening. How you doing? Okay, so let me calling. Oh, thank you very much. See you, I'm blushing. Thank you, Noreen. Thank you for telling me I'm looking beautiful. Simon not even send me. Even Tolu. Thank you. Thank you so much. Okay, so where is everybody? Oh? Please, Nori, do me a favor. I'm just seeing your chat. Nori, please do me a favor. Just drop a message. They're used to my handwriting. Just drop a message in the chat and tell them we started. You say Klesi Money Day. Oh my, this is so funny. Thank you, Nori. Where is everyone? No, guys. Let's join in. So Tolulokpe, we're gonna wait till like say 9:05 my time and then we can start proper, yeah?
All
Okay,
right, no
cool.
problem.
Hi, Halimat. How you doing?
Hi, I'm doing good. Good evening.
Good to meet you. Good to see you. Like meet you here, right? We've met
Yeah, thank you.
but it's good to
LinkedIn,
meet you.
yeah. Thank you so much.
Okay, so Halima, do me a favor, right? Just put it
All
in
right.
the community that we're live just to give others a nudge to join in. Okay.
All right. Okay.
Thank you. Hi, Samuel. How you doing? Hope you're good. Samuel, if you're speaking, you're mute. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
How you doing?
I'm fine. How are you?
I am good. Samuel, we've met before prior to now, yeah?
Well, I'm not sure about that.
Yeah, I know. Don't worry. I'll come into your DM and remind you. If you remember DevOps, then you can remember the rest.
Oh,
Like,
that really depends.
yeah, don't worry about that. I know you'd remember the rest.
Okay.
Okay, so I need you to do me a favor, Samuel. Please drop it in the group chat that we are live just to give others a nudge to join in here.
All right, I'll do that.
Thank you. So, Tolulope, once it's 9:05, I would hand over the baton to you so that you can start. See, my Bible is here, my paper is here, my book. I'm ready to learn because you see this project management thing. There's no I know it all. I want to really pick your brain and know what's going on. Especially scope, this particular topic. A lot of PMs don't even understand that this is the real deal. So I'm
Yeah.
really excited to learn from you.
Thank you. I don't know what to.
All right, so over to you. Go ahead, please.
All
I
right.
will mute.
Good evening, everyone.
Good
Good
evening.
evening.
Good evening. Okay. As you said, my name is Tolulope, and this night we'll just be talking about uh understanding scope, time, and cost. Please just give me a few minutes to share my slide. Please, can you see my slide?
Yes, we can.
Yes.
All right. Good evening once again, and welcome to today's class. Let me just say class. We are talking about scope, time, and cost. As Josephine said when we were talking earlier, she said a lot of PM don't really understand this scope, time, and cost. I was part of those PM that really did not understand how to manage this scope, time, and cost, and it took me a few months to really understand it because it was really affecting my productivity. So let's start with the scope, time, and cost. Like I would say are very important in ensuring that your project is delivered is completed and is of best quality, because if your scope is not aligning with your time and with your cost, it causes a lot of confusion in projects, and majorly a lot of people call it different things. Some people call it the iron triangle, the project management triangle, the three constraints concept, and there are different names that people call it, but the end point is they are talking about scope, they are talking about time, and they are talking about cost. So what does it mean to have a project constraint? Let me just start from there. A project constraint is any factor that can limit a project manager option when executing a project. It's anything that can limit your options, that can reduce, maybe not give you the full efficiency of what you are working on. So is any constraint, anything that can affect your limits, that can have of executing a project. And one thing is, projects do not operate in unlimited condition. They operate under boundaries. You have to have boundaries for every project. You cannot just open a project up and decide to be working on it and decide to let anything goes. When you are working on a project, you have to have boundaries. You have to have things that are non-negotiables with projects. And I think having things that are non-negotiable with is it non-negotiable now? Having boundaries, let me just say boundaries. Having boundaries with your project helps you a lot to really complete your project, to really grow your to really be within the scope of your project. So the triple constraint for project management, we have the constraints three constraints, and it is the time, the scope, and the cost, and it must be managed successfully to complete a project. What does a scope means? A scope is what the project will deliver. What will your project deliver? That is basically what your scope is. What are you envisioning that your project will deliver? That is what a scope is. Time is when the project will be completed. Basically, when are you starting and when are you completing this project? Why cost is how much will you be spending on this particular project you are working on. So if your scope is not aligning with your timing and is not aligning with your budget or your cost, you cannot deliver a awesome project. You cannot deliver a quality project. So these three constraints are interdependent. They work with each other. It's like let me use an example of our body, part of our bodies. You cannot say because the eyes is small, you will ignore the highs. If you have eye issue, you will ignore the high, and because your legs are working and your hands are working, then you have to forget about the high. Or because you say, oh, my nose, I'm not breathing well, but my other part of the body is working, then I will just ignore the nose. No, it cannot work like that. If one part of your body is not working properly, it affects you generally. So this is just an example of what these three constraints are all about. If one part of this constraint is not aligning properly, it affects the whole project. It affects your deliverables. It affects your completion of the project. So at the end, it just say if one changes, the others must change. That basically, if one of your scope is changing, if your scope is not aligning well, or you have more scope, or something is just not aligning with these three, your project, you will not deliver a quality project. That is basically what these three constraints is all about. So let's start with scope. What is scope? As I said earlier, scope is asking the question. Scope is asking the question, what would this project deliver? So defining scope is basically saying scope defines the work required to deliver the project objective. For every project you want to carry out, there's an objective to it. Let's say, okay, let's say you want to build a website. Let's just say we want to build a website. There must be an objective for this website. What is the objective of this website? What is this website we are building? What is it targeting? What are we targeting with this website? Is it an e-commerce website? Is it just a normal is it a cryptocurrency website? So your project has to have an objective. So scope is the work that you do to complete this objective. So it includes your deliverables, the futures, the requirement, the tasks or activities to carry out, then the project boundaries. Simply put, scope answers the question, what are we building or delivering? It's just, as I said earlier, if you are building a website, you are targeting an e-commerce website, what exactly are the deliverables of this e-commerce website? Are you targeting what are the features that will be on this website? These are the things that scope addresses. What are the requirements for these features? What are the tasks and activities that you need to complete when building this website? And what are your project boundaries? What are the things that the boundaries is what will be accepted and what will not be accepted? Okay, already I'm starting a project. I've discussed everything with the product owner, and the product owner is aware. What are my boundaries? because a lot of people, I think I've worked with one organization before that I had to stop working with them because it was there was no boundaries. I personally, as a project manager, I did not set boundaries. So every day there's something new coming in, and it got to a point that the project was just everybody was tired. Everybody was confused about what exactly are we supposed to do because there was no boundaries from the beginning of the project. Everybody, different things were just coming in. Sometimes you wake up and you see different list of things that they want you to accomplish in the next 3 days. And you are wondering, but I'm working already on this. Why would this join? There's no reason for it. People are just, the product owner is just bringing different things to you. And because you did not set your clear boundaries from the very beginning, so it affects your scope of work. It affects how you deliver your activities or your scope. So how do you manage scope management processes? How do you manage your scope? What are the process in managing your scope? Number one, you have to plan scope management. How do you plan scope management? Is having meetings to sit down with everybody on the team, the development team, the project manager, or the product owner, or it may not even be the product owner, maybe it's a construction project. Majorly, most of my work right now is based on the non-profit aspect. So how do I sit down? I have to sit down with funders, funders, and with the CEO of the organization to say, okay, what is the scope? What are you people expecting this project to deliver? Everybody has to be on an agreement. You have to be able to manage it with everybody on the team. Everybody is understanding that these are the things that we need to work towards, even if there will be changes, because in an agile environment, of course, there will always be changes, and we have to put flexibility in place. So, but everybody's aware of what needs to be done. There's not just sudden, even if there will be sudden changes, it will be something that there will be a reason for it, that everybody will know that, oh, this is very important for us to do. So plan your scope management with the team. Everybody on the team has to be involved with planning this scope management. Collecting requirements, like websites. Now, if you are building a website, how do you collect your requirements? Like, let's say you want to, the first aspect of your website building is the welcome page, the registration page. What are the things that you need to collect from that website? For that page, the requirement for that page is the name, maybe the name, the email. Everybody has to be aware of, oh, these are the things that we need for this particular page on the website. So collecting the requirement that is needed to complete that particular task is very important also. And also it is needed that everybody on the team is involved in that aspect, because you as a project manager, in as much as a project manager, you can decide to do it on your own, you'll be surprised. And when you get to your team members, different people can start saying, oh, this is important, this is important, this is important, and everybody has to sit down together to collect the requirements each task needs. Define the scope. What are the scope? What are the work to be done, so that that particular page on the website will be completed? What is the scope of it? What is the work required? What team will work on this? Who exactly is working on this? And that is how to know the scope. Number of days that you use to complete the objective, that's the particular page, is very important also. And after you have done this, create a work breakdown structure. That's the WBS. It helps you track, oh, this is the person that is supposed to do this, this is the person that is supposed to do it. It just give this structure to everything that has been discussed. It will not just be word of mouth alone. Then validate scope. Ensure that even after the meeting, after the management meeting or the scope management meeting, still validate the scope with product owner or with the development team also, just to make sure that everybody is in line with what has been discussed. Then control scope. You have to control your scope so that You will not just be, like I said earlier, I worked in an organization that every day there was different things that was popping up, and I could not control it because there was no initial. From the very beginning, I did not create that boundaries. So you have to control your scope as you work on the project, because in as much as there's need for flexibility, you also have to understand that it's not this scope you are working with is tied to a project and it's tied to time. So you cannot just be accepting different things from all of a sudden this wake up meet different things from different people. So you have to be able to control the scope with the team members, and if there's need for you to work on a particular scope, it has to be something that has been approved from the product owner or from the management of the organization before you can just wake up and because before you can just be doing things randomly. Managing time. Time is very important for every project. That is why it's a project. For a project, there's a beginning, there's a start, there's a start, and there's a end for every project. That is one thing with projects. Effective management, time management involve estimating duration, that's start date, and project completion date, sequencing tasks, milestones, and also adapting schedules, deadlines to ensure successful project success. Time management is very important in projects. As you are defining your scope, as you are trying to understand your scope, to every activities you are doing, there's time attached to it. A project is not something that you do forever and ever. It's something that you do part time, and it has time limits to it. So you have to be able to manage your time, and as you are managing your time, you have to understand that if we are starting a project today, when will this project be completed? Is it in the next 3 months? Is it in the next 2 months? Is it in the next 9 months? That has to be stated. Then sequencing tasks, that's milestones. There are different milestones, different activities that needs to be done, different activities, different, and for how do you complete each task. Now, I was talking about the welcome page on a website that requires the login page on a website that requires you registering if you want to register into into a website. There should be a time where that will be completed. It's not something that you just freelance. Let's just say because you have your 9 months and you decide to be working, and you decide because there's 9 months timing, development team are now doing anyhow. They cannot meet up with time. So as you are assigning that time, if as I'm assigning that time to this task, I'm assigning a time to it, which will be in conjunction with the development team to say, okay, we can complete this registration page in 5 days. And that 5 days, there must be a reason tied to you must know how this it will work within that 5 days. In as much as we have a registration page, there must be a breakdown, a sub-task of, oh, today we are just doing the pay the registration, the link to maybe referral something. So there must be a breakdown of what this particular registration page will look like and the timing it will work with, because you cannot just freelance things for people to, if you don't manage your time well, especially as a project manager, if you are not strong on your timing, you'll be surprised that team members will do whatever they like. And I experienced that also. Because I was not really, I was thinking, oh, everybody is mature, everybody is an adult. Oh, okay, let me just give them time to do whatever they want to do. When they are done, they will complete it. And I will say we used almost 1 month to complete like a registration page, and that was when I knew that something was wrong, because they were not taking me serious, and me myself as the project manager, I was not even strong on timing. And because the timing was, I was not managing the time well with the team, it was leading to over increase in cost. that that the product owner was now had to now come in to start talking and getting angry to say, oh, what is the point of us working and all this. So your time management is very important with your team. You need to understand that time is a goal, is a gift that you need to work on when managing projects. Delays in time can cause increase in cost, as I said, stakeholders dissatisfaction, that was what I said also. The product owner was just very sad about it. Missed market opportunities, exactly, because a website that was supposed to have been completed in 3 months, we were just on registration page for 1 month. So how will we complete? How will we even introduce the website into the market? So missed market opportunities at why time management is very important. An example is if a tech product launches late, competitors dominate the market. Exactly. So time management processes, divine activities, as I said, if you are working on a registration page, you have to now subsequent the activities. What are the subtasks that need to be completed? How many hours are you working on this? How many days are you working on this? This has to be highlighted for every project, every activities you are carrying out. Estimate duration, as I said already. You have to know the number of hours this person will be spending on this particular task they said they want to work on. Then develop schedule. Part of it is after everything everybody has said, oh, this I will spend 5 hours on this, I will spend 1 day on this, I will spend 2 days on this. Then you have to develop a schedule that you as the project manager can be able to monitor what these people are doing. To monitor, you'll be able to reach out to them to say, oh, please, if they are not if you cannot get updates from them on time, you have to reach out to them to say, okay, you said 5 hours, you said 6 hours, you said 1 day, what is happening? How can I help you? Are you facing any challenges that I can help you with? So you have to control the schedule. If you've created a schedule and imagine somebody saying 5 days is what they will use, 5 hours is what they will use to complete a particular task, and after 5 hours you've not gotten any report, you have to be able to control it so that they will not spend into so much time. You have to understand why the 5 hours mark that they said before was not the deliverables was not delivered, so that you cannot just open your time is essential for you, so you cannot just say let's freelance, let me just give them time to do things. No, it won't work like that. So you have to be able to control your schedule. There must be a reason why that deliverable was not completed. Then it will not bet the discussion to say, are we adding more time or we are not? Why is it not completed? These are the things that you have to know as a project manager, especially and it's even now tougher if you are working with remote workers, is because you are not in the same space, you are not in the same environment, and we have some really, it's not everyone, it's not all developers, but we have some really nonchalant developers that they don't really send you like that like that. So you have to be able to control your schedule to know to not just give people time to waste your time, because you are the one giving feedback to your boss, to the product owner, and you cannot just go to if your product owner is coming to ask you questions, you cannot just say, I did it, when it was the development team. No, that product owner will not listen to that. So you have to be able to control the schedule and your timing also. Then controlling cost, budgeting. Budgeting is one big thing in projects that me personally I don't like. Reason being that if you are not careful with budget, it is very tricky sometimes. So effective cost management involves estimating, budgeting, and monitoring all expenses to ensure project profitability and success. This include labor. Part of the things that you envision when you are costing things for your project is labor, material, equipment, operational costs. So what are labors means, who are the people working for you? if imagine now you are working in a construction, you are a project manager in construction. Who are the people? You have to work with artisans, you have to work with maybe interior decors, decorators, you have to work with roofing, you have to work with plumbing, you have to work with different people. So these are the labors. You have to estimate their cost, and under them you have to also understand what are the things, maybe the things that they will buy, the materials, what are the things that they'll be using for their own job to be completed. So this is you controlling the cost. Equipment is, what are the equipment you are using? Are we borrowing? Are we buying? So all these things has to be imputed in your cost, and all these things are very important, so that when because these things are very important in, as I said earlier, project constraints. If you don't control your costing or monitor your budget very well, it can affect your project. So and this is where project boundaries also come in, because imagine the owner of the project, or the product owner, or the organization you are working with, your boss just came Monday to say, we are adding this scope to this project you are working on. Because it's not part of your budget, you'll be able to defend to say, oh, Masa, we cannot really add this to the work we are doing right now because it's not on the budget. So this is why costing is very important for you as a project manager. The operational cost. What is the operational cost to be using? Are you using, like me now, that I work majorly in the NGO, I'm working currently in the NGO world. You have to consider transport, local transport, in air transport, internet, bank charges. There are so many things you have to consider when working with costing. So you have to also the rentage, the office that you are renting, you are working with. What how is the rent budgeted? All these things has to be controlled, so that in case anything is coming from outsider to say, oh, maybe before they said train 50 people for a leadership capacity training. Please, can you hear me?
Yes, we can. We can.
All right. Okay.
Go ahead.
Maybe. All right. Thank you. Maybe you have a budget for 50 to train 50 people for a leadership training, and all of a sudden your boss came to say, oh, we are increasing it to 100. So for you as a project manager now, you have to now be able to tell the your boss to say, the budget we are working with is for 50 people. It cannot carry 100 people. So this is very important for you. So costing is very important for you to understand, so that when your project, because if you don't cost well, it affects the quality of your project. Imagine you told me to train 50 people, and I costed for 50 people, and all of a sudden I got a message to say, oh, we are increasing it to 100, and they are not talking about budget. How do you want to deliver a quality training for 100 people with 50 people budget? Is not working. So that is why this and scope, time, and cost, they are interdependent on each other. If your budgeting is not working properly, it affects your scope, it affects your time. Because now, first of all, adding 50 people to it may be okay. We are still doing this training for 3 days, but the costing is more than 3 days. The 50 people budget cannot carry 100 people's budget, so there will not be quality that will be delivered, because you have to consider all the things like labor. Who are the people? What facilitators? What are the materials? Your training materials has to be considered. Imagine you've created training materials, you've budgeted training materials for 50 people. Now is 100. How do you want to share 50 materials with 100 people? So if you don't, these are the things that give you valid reasons to go back to your boss to say, uh, this will not work, because I don't know how to manage. I don't know how I want to manage 50 people budget for an 100 people budget, 100 persons now. So these are the reason why it helps you to articulate your concerns to your boss, especially timing. So imagine now For time, maybe you are supposed to work on a particular project, you are working on a 3-day training project, and all of a sudden the scope has been increased, the scope of the training has been increased. How do you want to do that within the 3 days? So is that you now have to discuss that, okay, instead of 3 days we'll do 5 days because our scope has been increased. So basically you have to understand what you are dealing with, your scope. You have to understand that this is where I am, this is what we are doing, this is the time allocated to it, and this is the cost allocated to this scope and timing. If anything now changes between, then you have to now know that, oh, I am tendering my concern concerning to say, oh, because you added more scope, there has to be change in time and there has to be change in cost. There are different type of project cost: direct cost directly linked to project work. Example are materials, salary, contracts, payments. These are the direct cost on a project. As I was saying, let's say the website building. Now we are building a website, and part of website building, maybe you need quality assurance, you need development team, you need what again do can we use under it? Let's just say maybe quality assurance and development team and all like that. So these are the direct people that are attached to your project work, because quality assurance is someone that will have to check if what you have done is actually ready for the public to use or not. So these are the direct costs, project costs that is directly linked to that project. Imagine you want to do a leadership training and you need facilitators, you need 3 facilitators, you need material, training materials, you need what again? You need food, maybe tea break or something during this leadership training. These are direct costs to the project. These are what we call direct costs. Anything that is related to the project that you are working on are called direct costs. Then indirect cost is administrative expenses like office rent, utility. These are indirect. They are not they are a cost, they are important, but they are not directly linked to the project you are working on. On cost management process. How do you manage cost processing? That's planned cost management. It's very important with maybe with the finance team or with the project team in general. You have to be able to plan your cost management. It's very important for you because costing and budgeting is one big thing that if you don't get it right, it affects your project easily. And part of costing is you are also understanding risk assessments, because you have to envision what can happen in the future. And is not even linked to cost alone, it's linked to the 3 constraints: the scope, the timing, and also the cost. Because if you're envisioning your risks of natural disaster, political, whatever that can happen, or uh, di- uh, different things that can happen along the line, you have to include them in your costing. Also, you have to be able to envision as a project manager and include them in your costing. Estimate cost. You have to be able to estimate your cost. Like me now, practically, that I work in the NGO world, before we even go for a particular budget, you have to confirm with like 3 different vendors. Like one that I was still doing last week now, I have to confirm with 3 different vendors, get their quotings for what we want to work on. Is then we now have to estimate, oh, which one are we going for, which one are we not going for, which vendor are we working with, which vendor are we not working with. And it can happen also in the tech world, because I've also worked in the tech world also, which includes, oh, maybe I want to hire a developer now, a full stack developer, I have to quote. That is why we have the word is big enough. You can just decide to just say, oh, let me get the quotation for this person. Let me get the quotation for this person, and let me get the quotation for this person. Then you see what they are willing to deliver, and you go for your best bet for yourself that it will work for you. So you have to estimate costs and determine what works best for your project and the budget you have been allocated with. Determine budget is also the same thing. Control cost. Part of controlling cost is also checking it out with different vendors to know, oh, this maybe you are working with a 20 million budget, and 20 million budget, part of it you pay your staff, you pay your development team, you pay people that your contractors and different people under. So you have to actually work within your 20 million naira, and between the 20 million naira and also budget, you have to be able to control some costs. There are some things that you eventually see that maybe is not needed, and you need to go as far it will not affect the project. So you have to be able to control your cost, because that's the major reason why we are project managers. We have to be able to manage the money that we have with us to be able to accommodate the project that we are working with. Cost estimation techniques. There are different techniques to estimate your cost. Number one is analogous estimation. Analogous estimation is basically saying maybe you've done a project in the past and you used the last project. The cost of the last project was $50,000. So and you have the same maybe exact similar project you are working on now. So you can use your last project to also develop a new project for the new project. But the problem with this one is that because there are different things that can affect costing, like inflation basically rising prices and all. This is not really sufficient for you costing a new project now, because you in your last project maybe you worked with facilitators and you give them $1,000 each. In this new project that you are working with, because different things has happened in the world, everybody is trying to raise up their own income level too. You may not actually get people, your facilitators again, that will work with you at $1,000 again. Maybe you have to now increase it to $2,000, $3,000. So the reason why this analogous estimation is not effective is because there are different things that can be attached to pricing, to costing. So it is not reliable to work on that. Then the bottom up estimation. Estimate each tax, then sum total, most accurate method. This method is basically saying, okay, we are working, most important, me personally, I work with this one. I work per tax. I do per tax, per activity estimation, and it has helped me a lot because budgeting can be large sometimes. So this per tax helps me to like keep control of budgeting, because now if I am doing a leadership training and it's part of my tax, it's part of my activities to carry out. The number one thing is I have to now sit down to think, okay, what are the things that I need to make this leadership training very successful? Oh, I need a change management, facilitator. I need a hall. I need I need a food, maybe food, tea break, something. I need that for the training. I need training materials. I need projectors. I need all these things. So I have per tax, I have to sit down to now say, oh, this tax, these are the things that I need for this tax, for this particular activity. So how do I estimate it? If I'm renting a hall, if we are not using an office space, maybe we are renting a hall outside the office space, what would this all give me? Including with the hall, will I get a projector? Will I get chairs? Will I get with the because there are some halls that will come with food, and also will all these things be attached to it, and what will be the pricing. So all these things helps me per tax to understand that, oh, this tax, this is what we are spending on this tax. So this particular tax, when we decide to say we are spending 5 million on it, it helps me to budget right per tax. And I think this actually reduce the cumbersome of working on budget. When you do your budgeting per tax, it helps you very well. Then parametric estimation. This is just using mathematical methods. Example is cost per kilometer of road construction. Imagine now you're a project manager for a road construction. And you can decide to budget the road construction by per kilometer. Maybe you are working with 5 kilometer now. You can decide to budget that 5 kilometer first. After you are done with 5 kilometer, you work with another 5 kilometer. You are costing per kilometer. That is basically what parametrics estimation is all about. Then how do you cost control tools? How do you track your cost? How do you control your cost? Is by budget tracking. There's end value management, there's financial reporting, and there's cost variance analysis. This cost variance analysis is about you using different vendors and costing what these different vendors are bringing to you. Financial reporting is another way to say, oh, after this project, this is what we've done. This is how you report it out. Oh, this was what was spent on this, and this was what maybe you allocate on your budget. You allocated $1,000 for something and you end up spending $8,000. Financial reporting helps you articulate that to say, oh, we spent this and this was what was remaining due to maybe a cheaper vendor, a cheaper opportunity, or because you cannot just use a cheaper vendor. You have to also understand the quality.
So can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay, so I needed to chime in. Is it me or your slide has been on controlling costs? Let me know if it's my network, guys. Is it just
No,
me?
it has been on controlling cost.
Okay, you're still on the slide. Okay. All right,
Yes.
continue.
Yes. All right. So that is basically what cost control is all about. Scope creep. Scope creep often leads to project delay and budget overrun, making effective change management crucial for success. Effective change management is very important. That helps your scope creep, because if imagine you are working on a project already and you had a new leadership, and the new leadership is saying, oh, we are adding this to the scope that you're already working with. How do you effectively present your thoughts or your challenges to the new management to understand that? So there should be documents so that if there's change in leadership, or there should be a document or something to say, oh, this is what we are working with, and this is why you cannot just come in to add a new scope. And if you are adding a new scope, are you saying time will change and budget will change? So scope creep is very important. Scope creep sorry scope
It's
creep.
a tongue twister. Girl, I get it. It is a tongue twister. Go for it.
Right. So scope creep happen when additional work is added without adjusting time and cost, as I said earlier, because you cannot just come from nowhere and add work to what I'm doing and not consider the time and the cost of what I'm doing. So it's very important to be able to articulate your thoughts well to maybe a change leadership to say, oh, this is what we are working with. And if you want us to add this your new scope to what we are working with, then it has to affect the timing and the cost, because you cannot just add a new workload and not consider the time and also the cost that has already been budgeted. Example is a client asking for extra features, additional report, or more beneficiary. Like now, sorry that I'm using non-profit as an example. I think it's because I'm working presently in non-profit. Like now in non-profit now, you're asked to train people. You have to train young youth development. You have to train 100 youth, and all of a sudden, a new boss is coming in to say, no, you want to increase it to 150. So you have to be able to present to say this is not this is this your additional work will affect the scope that is already on ground. You have to be able to voice that out. Additional extra features, maybe you are working on a product, you are working on a app, and all of a sudden the product owner comes to say, oh, I want this to be added all of a sudden with no prior discussion with the team or anything. So as a project manager, you have to be able to present it out to the product owner to say, no, it cannot work because we are already working with this. Or if it will be added, are you reducing our time? Are you increasing our time? Or are you increasing our budget? These are the discussions as a project manager you'll be able to have with your with whoever is your boss, so that it can help your team to deliver quality projects. So results, project failure risk increases. If there's scope risks, it increases the risk of your project failure, because if it is not well discussed and well articulated, it leads to project failure. How to prevent scope creep? Clear project charter, because at the beginning of every project, please have a clear project charter, something that you are working with, that you can tender to say this was what was working for, this was what we were supposed to work on. So it will not just be, oh, it was word of mouth. You have to be able to tender a solid document to back you up. Define scope statement, because in your project charter there have to be defined scope statement. Change control process. In this change control process, to say, oh, if a new boss is coming in, what are the things that have been set aside so that it will inform the boss? Is it maybe before the boss will suddenly be adding a new scope to the project you are working? Maybe you as the project manager has gone ahead to talk to the person to update them on, oh, this is what we are working on. And if they will be adding anything more to it, then you have to know that it will affect time and it will affect your cost. Stakeholder approval system. Whoever you are working with, your stakeholders, please make sure that they approve your scope, so that they will not just come one day to say, oh, we did not approve this was not in. So there is the document, and that's why project charter is very important, because project charter is something that has been endorsed. So it gives you a backup. It helps you to tender your discussion, or your project, your challenges, and it helps you clarify a lot of things when scope are being added to your project already. Regular scope review meeting is very important. Maybe like at the beginning of every meeting, like maybe during the 15 minutes sprint discussion, maybe there are things to just reiterate that this is what we are working with, this is our scope. And also with the bosses, with the leaders of with the management, there has to be regular scope review meetings, so that everybody will be on the same page. It will not just be, oh, we did that, we did this. Everybody is on the same page. Key tools that we use is work breakdown structure.
Sorry. Hi, Tulu. Sorry,
Yes.
could you please wrap up like within a few seconds, because I'm sure there are a lot of people who have questions. Thank you, dear. You're doing
Right,
well.
right. Thank you. Grants, the key tools that you can use that can help you work break down structures. What are they? There are different tools that we can use now to break down your work, so that everybody is aware of what our scope is all about. Then grant chart helps you with timing. You know the months, the week you are supposed to work. Grant chart is very important also, that helps you in project scheduling. Balance the triple constraints. Effective project management requires understanding how change in one aspect affects the other. Expanding scope increase both time and cost. As I said earlier, if you expand the scope, that means it will affect both time and the cost. Reducing time may lead to decreased cost. If you reduce the time of a particular project, it may increase the cost of the project. Cutting costs often results in reduced scope and extended timeline. So if you are cutting the cost of a project, that means you are reducing the scope or you are extending the timeline. Strategies for achieving balances to manage projects. Regular engaging stakeholders help identify potential issue early. When you, as I said earlier, regular meetings, regular review meetings, you are able to help us identify issues earlier. Utilizing project management tools allow for better tracking and adjustment. This is why we have different project management tools that helps you to track your projects on time. Also, prioritizing flexibility in planning can also help navigate and adjust smoothly. Flexibility is also important. As you are planning your projects, considering scope, time, and cost, flexibility, because we are working in an agile environment, you have to be able to put that aspect to it to say anything can happen. So how do we balance? How are we not stuck on just one particular? So we are flexible to accept anything, but within our scope, time, and cost. Thank you so much. I hope I was able to do.
You were able to do so much. You did a lot. And you did exceptionally well. In fact, we already started getting testimonies here. So I see Noreen dropping something. Let me read it out. Noreen says, this is a message sent by God, just what I needed, well delivered, and another interview enhancing package. I'm happy that, this would help you, Noreen. Thank you so much, Tolulube. You've done exceptionally well. I say it and I would always say it. It takes a lot to deliver knowledge. A lot of people have a lot of things to say. In fact, we have a lot of knowledge. A lot of people have a lot of things to share. But it's one thing to have it here. It's another thing to deliver it. And you've done exceptionally well. Thank you so much. All right. So quick one, I'll come to your DM. So girl, you're going to see me soon. Okay. So, but quick, I think Deborah has a question here. Let me quickly read it out. And she said, where's the question? She said, do you have to go with every suggestion by the team whilst you are in your planning stage? Do you want to pick that up?
Okay, let me just say something. It's not every suggestion that your planning team, your team gives you that you go with. You as the project manager, you have to be able to, in as much as their input is needed, you as the project manager, you have to be able to consider a lot of things, because there's tendency that you have more more information about some things that your team members may not have. Maybe directly with the leadership team, you may have some knowledge that they may not have. So you have to consider what will work best, that will work for your team and also work for the leadership team. So it's not everything that your team, especially your development team, suggests that you work with. That's just the plain truth from my own end.
And that's good. You've done justice to that. Thank you so much. And Deborah is already giving you a thumbs up. I love it. Okay, so Noreen, I'm happy to see your face. Do you have anything you want to chime in?
Yeah, thank you very much. That's very, very good. I want to make a request. Please, can I get the slide immediately? I don't want to have to wait till tomorrow, because I was just repackaging a project I started about say 20 days ago, and I was stuck, and this is just what I needed. Having said that, first things first, to the presenter, WBS.
Okay.
What tools, you were talking about tools, you started it but you didn't go further. What tools do you think, what tools do we use? And generally to the house, at what point do we start do we stop initiating, and at what point do we start planning? Because it seemed to me that as soon as you're talking about WBS, you're already planning. So if you could throw more light on that, I would appreciate it. But so far, so good. This is what nobody will teach you in class. You can do 100. Yeah, you can do 100 project management training. Nobody will teach you in class. It takes someone who is actually practicing to be able to. I'm so fulfilled this moment. Thank you very much. Yeah.
Thank you, Noreen. Yeah,
Okay.
we have less than a minute.
Okay. For WBS, I think we can use Asana for that. There are tools. Am I correct, Josephine? I think we can use Asana. Me personally, because I'm in the non-profit world, I use majorly Excel sheet. It's very comfortable for me. I use Excel sheet because it's very comfortable for me. But there are different tools. There's Asana. There's, I think, Google Project. Is it Microsoft Project? There are different. Yeah, there are different things that you can use now that can help you plan your WBS very well. And it will give you real time. I think Asana. Yes, I've used Asana. Asana will even be prompting you mails to tell you that these are the things that you're supposed to do this week. These are the things you are supposed to do today. So I think Asana works well, and there are other different tools also.
Okay, good one. Then thank you very much. So just to add to what she has said, Google Sheet, you see Rahim is dropping something, Google Sheet and
Yes.
Excel. Yes,
Excel. That's what I
Yeah.
use personally.
yes.
Excel.
All right. Okay, so guys, there's going to be a session tomorrow. This session tomorrow is back to back. Oh. So
Sorry, Josephine. He asked a question about when do you move from initiation to planning. I think you move from initiation to planning when you and your team have started discussing the tasks and activities to do. Because as you are discussing tasks and activities, you are putting it down. It's not just about you talking alone now. It's actually manifesting. So you are putting it down. So I think once you start developing your work WBS, you have started planning for the project already.
Thank you so much for that. Thank you so much for that. Yeah.
This is what we can do. Reach out to me via DM because we don't actually share slides. But since you said you really need it for something that you're working on, then I think we can make that exception. Okay, so thanks everyone. See you guys tomorrow. There's also a lovely topic that's coming up tomorrow. Bye.
Thank you, Josephine, for putting this up. Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah.